anatomy and physiology for the GNM first years. So in this we are going to discuss about the unit 7, that is digestive system. So we are going to discuss about the accessory organs of the digestive system. So the accessory organs means it is not a part of the digestive system, but it can be involved in the digestive activity. So at the last class we have seen about the pancreas, and now we are going to discuss about the liver. So the liver, it is a become large and the solid gland situated in the right upper quadrant of the abdominal cavity. So it is solid gland, so it is not a become loose and it is become not toughened, and it is become a large solid gland and situated in the right upper quadrant of the abdominal cavity. So the right upper quadrant of the abdominal cavity. So it is, if you are dividing the abdomen into the 9 regions by the 2 horizontal lines and the 2 vertical lines. So it is the right upper quadrant of the abdomen. So it is a become right side and it is the left side. So the liver can be situated at the upper quadrant of the abdominal cavity. So here the liver can be situated. So it is become right upper quadrant of the abdominal cavity. So the liver can be situated at the right upper quadrant of the abdominal cavity. And the next, the liver is become weighing about. So the weight of the liver in the males, that is 1600 grams, and there is in females the liver weight is 1300 grams. So in the females it is become 1300 grams and in the males it is become 1600 grams. So the liver occupies the whole of the right hypochondrium. So it is the right hypochondrium and it is the epigastrium, and it is become left hypochondrium. So the liver occupies the right hypochondrium and greater part of the epigastrium. So and it can be extend into the left hypochondrium. So it can be, the liver can be situated at the right upper quadrant of the abdominal cavity and at the right hypochondrium, and it can be extends from the right hypochondrium and epigastrium up to the left hypochondrium. The liver can be extended, and there is a liver can be secretes the bile, and it can be secretes the bile and it can be helps in the digestion of the fat. And the liver consists of the 2 lobes and there is a 5 surfaces. So the 2 lobes includes the right lobe and the left lobe, and the 5 surfaces it includes the anterior surface and the posterior surface and the inferior surface and the superior surface and the right surface. So there is a 5 surfaces, it includes the anterior, posterior and superior, inferior and the right angle of the liver. So there is a 2 lobes. So it is become right lobe and this is a left lobe. So right lobe is become very longer and very bigger than the left lobe. So it is become bigger than the left lobe. So left lobe is become very small and the right lobe is become big, and it is about the 2 lobe. And the right lobe and the 2 lobes can be divided by the ligament. So it is called as falciform ligament. So the right lobe and the left lobe can be divided by the ligament. So it is a ligament, it is called as falciform ligament. So the falciform ligament means there is a right lobe and left lobe can be divided by the ligament. It is called as falciform ligament. It is the liver. So liver can be situated upper quadrant of the stomach, upper quadrant of the abdominal cavity, and it can be extends from the right hypochondrium to the epigastrium and at the level of the left hypochondrium. And in the males it is become 1600 grams weight and in the females it is become 1300 grams of weight. and it can be secretes the bile, and it consists of two lobes, and there is a right lobe and the left lobe. So right lobe is become bigger than the left lobe. So left lobe is become small when comparing with the right lobe. So the right lobe and the left lobe can be divided by the ligament. So it is called as falciform ligament, and there is a 5 surfaces. It includes the anterior and the posterior, superior and inferior, and the right angle of the liver. And the next one is the histology of the lobe. So the histology of lobe, it includes the two lobes, and it's made up of lobules. So the lobules can be are made up of the hepatocytes. So hepatocytes, it is nothing but cells. So the hepatocytes can be help in the formation of the liver mass. So the lobes which are made up of the lobules. So lobules, it all become it is a cells of the tissues, and it forms the lobes of the liver. So the lobes are made up of the hepatocytes. So the hepatocytes, it is nothing but helps in the formation of the hepatocytes. It can be helps in the formation of the liver mass, and 50 to 65% of liver mass can be formed by the hepatocytes, and it also helps produce the innate immunity to fight against the microorganisms. So the hepatocytes, it can be helps in the production of the innate immunity, and it can be helps the fight against with the microorganism. So it can be made up of by the hepatocytes. So the lobes of the liver, it consists of the hepatocytes. It helps in the production of the innate immunity, and it can be fight against the microorganisms. And next one is the Kupffer cells. So the liver consists of the Kupffer cells. The Kupffer cells can be present in the liver. So the Kupffer cells, it can be removed, it can be helps in the breakdown of the red blood cells, and it can be forms the sinusoids of the liver. So sinusoids, sinusoids of liver can be formed by the Kupffer cells. So the sinuses of liver means there is a lining of the liver, and it is a blood vessels in the liver. So it can be the lining of the sinusoids of liver means there is a sinusoids of liver means the blood vessels which are present in the liver, it is called as sinusoids of the liver. So the Kupffer cells can be helps in the formation of lining of the sinusoids of the liver. So there is a Kupffer cells can be present in the liver, and it helps in the to formation of the lining of the sinusoids of the liver. Sinusoids means there is a blood vessels which can be present in the liver. It is called as sinusoids of liver, and it can be formed by the Kupffer cells. So it can be helps in the breakdown of the red blood cells in the body. So it is about the histology of the lobe. So there is the lobes of the made up of lobules. So the lobes can be formed by the lobules. So the lobes are made up of hepatocytes, and hepatocytes, it is nothing but there is a cells, and it can be forms the 50 to 65% of liver mass, and it helps in the to fight against it helps to produce the innate immunity, and it can be helps to fight against with the microorganisms. And there is a Kupffer cells, it can be helps in the formation of lining of the sinusoids of the liver. Sinusoids of liver means there is a blood vessels which are present in the liver. So the next one is the lobes. Next one is the lobes of the liver. So the lobes, it includes the right lobe and left lobe. So the right lobe is become larger when comparing with the left lobe. So it is become right lobe, it is bigger than left lobe, and when comparing with the left lobe, the right lobe is become larger. So there is a fifth 5/6 of the liver can be formed by the right lobe. So right lobe. So the 5/6 of the liver, 5/6 of the liver can be formed by the right lobe. So the right lobe consists of the two lobes, that is caudate lobe and the quadrate lobe. Caudate lobe and quadrate lobe. So the caudate lobe is situated on the posterior surface. So the caudate lobe, it can be situated at the posterior side of the right lobe. So the posterior surface of the right lobe, the caudate lobe can be situated, and it is bounded on the right by groove for inferior vena cava. So at the caudate lobe, and there is a right side, the inferior vena cava can be situated. So the inferior vena cava, it carries the deoxygenated blood from the lower parts of the body for the oxygenation, and the left side there is a fissure and left side of this caudate lobe, and there is a fissure to the ligamentum venosum. So the ligamentum venosum, it is a fissure and it can be situated at the left side of the caudate lobe. And next one, posterior side of this caudate lobe, and above it is continuous with the superior surface. So the ligamentum venosum and the posterior side of this ligamentum venosum, and above it can be continuous with the superior surface of the right lobe, and below to the right just behind the porta hepatis. So there is a right side just behind the porta hepatis, and there is a caudate lobe can be situated below the right side and behind the porta hepatis. So there is a porta hepatis, means it is a transparent deep tissue, it is a transparent deep fissure. So it is a deep transparent fissure, and it can be situated inferior part of the right lobe. So at this below there is a caudate lobe can be situated. So behind of this porta hepatis, and there is a below of the porta hepatis, the caudate lobe can be situated. So porta hepatis, it is nothing but there is a deep transverse fissure, and it can be situated in inferior part of the right lobe. So inferior part of the right lobe, inferiorly the porta hepatis can be situated, and it can be connected to the right lobe of the liver. So the cauda lobe is become connected to the right lobe of the liver. And the next one is quadrate lobe. So the quadrate lobe, it can be situated on the inferior surface. So the quadrate lobe is become situated inferior surface of the right lobe, and there is the quadrate lobe is become situated on the posterior surface of the quadrate lobe. So the caudate lobe can be situated posterior surface of the right lobe, and the quadrate lobe, it can be situated on the inferior surface of the right lobe, and it is become rectangular shape. So it is become rectangular shape. So the quadrate lobe, it is become rectangular shape and posteriorly by the porta hepatis. So the posterior side of the quadrate lobe, there is a porta hepatis can be present. So the porta hepatis, it is nothing but there is a deep transference fissure, and it can be situated in inferior part of the right lobe. So it is about the quadrate lobe. It is situated on the inferior surface of the right lobe, and it is become rectangular in shape, and posteriorly the porta hepatis can be present. And the next one is the left lobe. So the right lobe consists of, it is become larger than left lobe, and it is a 5/6 of the liver can be formed by the right lobe, and there is a 2 lobes can be present in the right lobe, that is caudate lobe, and the next one is quadrate lobe. So next one is the left lobe. So it is become smaller than right lobe, and it is become flat ended from above the downward. So there is become right lobe is become smaller when comparing with the right lobe, and it is become flattened and it is become down, and above it is become flattened and it is downward. So there is a flattened from above downward. So the left lobe is become flattened. So next one is the arterial supply to the liver. So the arterial supply, 20% of blood supply to the liver can be by the hepatic artery. So the hepatic artery, it can be supplies the oxygenated blood to the liver. So next one is the 80% of portal vein. So the portal vein, it carries the blood from the parts of the body and it can be transferred to the liver for the filtration, and there is a filtration and processing. So there is a 20% of hepatic artery. So 20% of blood supply to the liver by the hepatic artery. So hepatic artery, it carries the oxygenated blood to the liver, and the 80% of portal vein, and it can be carries the blood from the lower parts of the body and to the liver for the filtration and the processing. So 80% of blood supply to the liver by the portal vein. And the next one is venous drainage. So the venous drainage, it includes the hepatic vein drain directly into the inferior vena cava. So the hepatic veins, it can be carries the deoxygenated blood from the liver and it can be enter into the inferior vena cava. So from the hepatic vein, the blood can be drained into the inferior vena cava. So it is about the venous drainage. And the nerve supply, it includes the hepatic plexus. So there is a hepatic nerves and there is a parasympathetic and sympathetic nerves can be supplied to the liver. So it is about the nerve supply. Arterial supply, it includes the 20% of hepatic artery and 80% of portal vein can supply the blood to the liver. And the venous drainage, there is a hepatic vein drains the blood into the inferior vena cava. There is a nerve supply, there is a sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves can be supplies the liver. And the next one is the functions of liver. So the functions, it includes the metabolism of proteins and the fat. So the metabolism, it is become a chemical action. So the chemical reaction can be involved in the metabolism for the to living the organism. So to living the person or organism. So the metabolism has important to break down the proteins and the fats. So by the liver. So the liver can be involved in the function of the metabolism of proteins and the fats. So next one is the storage of vitamin and iron and glucogen. So the liver can be helps to storage of the vitamins and the iron and glycogen. Next one is the produce glucose by the gluconeogenesis. So there is the liver can be helps to produce the glucose by the gluconeogenesis. So the gluconeogenesis means it can be helps in the making of the glucose. So it helps to make the glucose by the breaking down of the fats and the proteins and the amino acids. So there is a gluconeogenesis means there is a formation of the glucose, and it can be the liver can be helps to produce the glucose in the body. And the next one is the secretion of bile. So the liver can be helps in the secretion of the bile. And next one is the it excretes the cholesterol and the bile pigments and the toxins. So the liver can also helps the excretion of the waste materials like waste cholesterol, and there is a bile pigments and the toxins. So if there are any toxins can be present in the body and it can be excreted by the liver. And the next one is the hemolysis. So the hemolysis, it is a destruction of the red blood cells. So the old red blood cells can be replaced by the new red blood cells. So the liver can be helps in the formation of the new red blood cells. And there is a hemopoiesis. So the hemopoiesis, there is a the liver can be helps in the formation of the red blood cells and the platelets. So the hemopoiesis means there is a production of the red blood cells and the platelet cells. So the liver can be helps in the hemopoiesis, that is the formation of the or production of the red blood cells and the platelets. And the next one is the detoxification. So the detoxification means there is a toxins can be excreted by the liver, so by the body. So the detoxification means the waste products and the toxins can be excreted by the liver. And the next one is the prevention of gallstones. So while production of toxins and the waste materials, and it can be helps to formation of the stones in the gallbladder. So by the liver we can prevent the gallstones. So by the liver, and it can excrete the waste materials from the body, and it can be prevents the gallbladder stones. And the next one is the formation of urea. So there is a after the breaking down of the amino acids and the proteins, and the urea can be released. So the urea can be excreted in the bloodstream, and by the bloodstream it can enter into the kidney, and by the kidney it can be excreted by the urine. So there is a formation of urine by the liver, and it can be excreted by the urine. So and the functions, it includes the metabolism of proteins and the fats, and storage of vitamin and iron, glucose, and produce the glucose by the gluconeogenesis, and the secretion of bile. And next one is it excretes the cholesterol and the bile pigments and the toxins. And the next one is hemolysis and the hemopoiesis. And the next one, the liver can be helps in the detoxification, that is excrete the toxic materials from the body, and there is a prevention of the gallstones. So the liver can helps in the prevention of the gallbladder stones, and there is a formation of urea. So it is about the functions of the liver.